Hello everybody, my name is Shauna and I am a cycling instructor here at Supreme Health and Fitness. And today we are going to set Abby up on our Keiser M3 bike. And our first step is adjusting the seat height. So Abby, I'm actually going to have you stand next to the seat and pick your thigh up so that it's parallel to the ground. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to elevate the seat so it's at the same height as the top of her thigh. All right. Now, to test that height, I'm going to have Abby actually hop in here and put her feet in the pedals. And a little side note with using the cages, you don't want to put your feet all the way in the cages. That can cause some foot cramping. You want them to go about halfway in so that the ball of the foot is right next to the pedal crank arm. And then I'm going to have Abby pedal just a few times so she can get comfortable in there. And we want to look for excessive hip movement. Right off the bat, if you see her hips stretching one side or another, you know that her seat height is too high. Now things look pretty good, but we're actually going to measure her. So Abby, I'm going to have you stop pedaling. Now instead of having her leg all the way down, because her seat stem is at a slight angle, we want to have her crank arm parallel with that angle because that'll actually be her furthest extension point from the entire pedal cycle. So we have her get to that parallel mark. I'll have you come down a little bit more. And then with the goniometer, we're going to measure. We want somewhere between a 25 and a 35 degree angle at her knee. So we put the goniometer at her knee, and we're going to line up one part with her ankle and the other part with her hip bone here. Now this measurement is giving me about a 15 degree measurement. So I think I'm going to drop her seat down just a little bit to get a slightly deeper angle at her knee. So I'm going to have you stand up in those pedals. We'll drop it down just a little bit. The nice thing about the Keiser bikes is you can micromanage your height adjustments. You don't have to click into specific holes, so you can get really, really specific with the seat heights. So once again, when you put that on the center of her knee, line up the bottom of the goniometer with her ankle, and then the top part, line it up with her hip bone. And that brings us to about a 27 degree angle, which is actually ideal. Now once she's here, I'm going to have her pedal once again to make sure she looks comfortable. And now we have the seat height adjusted. The next adjustment we want is to have her seat fore and aft to make sure that's appropriate. So then we take our plumb line. We made a makeshift one with a washer and a shoelace, but you can get the plumb lines anywhere. And I'm going to have you bring your feet to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Now from here, I want to measure from the front of her knee and make sure the plumb line drops down to where the crank arm is. So I'm going to come to the front of her knee, and we're going to lower this down, and the middle of the plumb line actually comes exactly to where the crank arm attaches to the pedal. So that means her fore and aft adjustment is perfect. Now if you don't have a plumb line on you, what you want to do is have the participant look down over their knee and make sure they can actually see their toes. If they can see their entire foot, that means they're too far back. But if at that 3 o'clock position they cannot see their toes, that means they're too far forward. So that's how you can measure without the plumb line. So once again, I'm going to have you pedal a few times to make sure you feel comfortable in there. The final adjustment are the handlebars. Abby, do you have any back problems at all? Nope. So she doesn't have any back problems. Also, I happen to know that Abby is an avid outdoor cyclist who's used to having her handlebars a little bit lower. So what we're going to do is drop her handlebars down, but we do not want to drop them lower than the actual seat height. So we'll be comfortable bringing Abby down just a little bit. But as you can see, the top of the handlebars are not lower than the top of the seat height. Go ahead and relax your elbows a little bit and pedal for me. How does that bike fit feel?
Feels great.
And that's how you fit somebody on the Keiser bike.